Who knew Walmart Business could help a thriving office motivate their employees? Pamela knew. She uses Walmart Business to get the assortment of items her team needs at the prices she loves.
As the office manager, it's my job to make sure my team stays on top of their game. I can get the basics like cleaning supplies and paper towels, but what they really care about, snacks.
And she can get everything they need when they need it.
Greg loves wheat crackers, Brenda craves sour candy, and Max, oh boy, he needs protein bars and milk and applesauce
It's Walmart,
and jerky.
built for your business. Who knew?
Here's a tip for you. There's a podcast out there with fans waiting to be your next customer. They tune in every week, they trust the host, and that host wants to talk about brands like yours in their own words to their audience. The problem is, you just haven't been introduced yet. We're Acast, where that introduction happens. As the world's largest podcast marketplace, we let you browse shows, see who's listening, and book host-read sponsorships or run your own ads all from one platform. Transparent pricing, real-time data, complete control. Start advertising on podcasts by visiting acast.com/advertise.
We love that we get to record Sewing Club podcast on Turrbal and Yagara country. We pay our respects to their elders past and present. This is the Sewing Club podcast.
Hi everyone, welcome back.
I'm Kylie.
And I'm Gemma.
And today's episode is the Georgia series from Elizabeth Suzann.
You were excited to make this one, weren't you, Kylie?
I was excited to make it. I was definitely more excited to actually talk to Liz because I kind of followed the journey.
Yeah, and it's a really interesting one as well.
Yes.
We should probably introduce the pattern and tell the listeners, a bit more about it.
Yeah, so why is it called a series?
Well, it's not just available, it's a tee, but it's also available as a full dress as well. So you can make the midi length or the longer length. Mm-hmm. It is a boxy tee with an extended sleeve and a cuff on the end. A fairly high neck with binding around the neck. Really easy to wear, I would say. Mm-hmm. And a really cool length as well. The tee, I made the tee. And it's cool. I love it.
Yep. It's a simple garment and it is a lot like kind of like a uniform. If you like that type of top that doesn't have, a set-in sleeve, it's just a boxy shaped top, then you'll like this one.
I have to say, it wouldn't be my go-to kind of top, but when I put it on, I thought it was really flattering and it has been designed really, really well. So I was pleasantly surprised.
Yeah, even a simple garment can have drafting details that make it fit to your body better.
And even just where the cuff hits and things like that, the dimensions are right. And she does talk about that in the description. And I think that's, that's a really good point to make about, although it's simple, you do need to think about all of those things.
Yes, you do. And I want to let everyone know that this is the first pattern that we've done where the pattern company we've chosen isn't necessarily all a pattern company. So Elizabeth Suzann, the company in Nashville, they're actually a ready-to-wear company and have been going for a while. And they have released their patterns to us. Thank you, the home sewists, because, we'll let Liz tell you about that.
COVID was obviously a kind of pivotal moment worldwide for everybody, but specifically for businesses that were making things in person. It's so interesting to look at it in hindsight because we kind of see what happened. And there was actually a pretty big e-commerce boom post-COVID, but we had no idea that was coming. And if we did, maybe things would have ended up differently, but we just really struggled with those initial shutdowns. Our whole factory was obviously an in-person operation, one big building. We had almost 50 of us working there, cutting and sewing, and we couldn't have people coming in when COVID first happened. And so we were shut down for a week and then 2 and then 3 and 4, and it just kept going. So we really, really struggled with what to do at that time. And we talked to our team about it. We considered should we do temporary layoffs and let everyone collect unemployment in order to preserve the business's finances so that hopefully we can reopen. And some people were in favor of that, but ultimately the process here in the US is unpredictable. Forget collecting unemployment. There was a lot of backups because it was happening everywhere. So ultimately we were like, no, let's just hang on and we'll try to keep people paid and hope that things turn around. And then they just didn't. It didn't ever feel like there wasn't a quick opportunity to return to work safely. So we just kind of kept payroll running and eventually reached a point where there was not an easy path back from that. We never had like a huge savings to begin with. We were pretty month to month in terms of what was coming in and what was going out, as most small businesses are. So going a month and a half of keeping all of our expenses going, but not having anything coming in, just put us down. So we made the decision to do one final open for orders, and then we had our team do it remotely. So we had sewers set up from home to sew, and then our cutting team came in like staggered so that they wouldn't be around a lot of other people to cut. And that let us pay out those last paychecks and kind of work through as much of our inventory as we could. And then sold the warehouse, sold the equipment, just kind of sold everything and wound down. And that was still, I would say, still during the pretty big valley, like economically. Maybe a month or two after that, we started to see a big uptick where like tie-dye sweatpants were everywhere and everyone was buying lounge clothes because they had stimulus money. And there was definitely like a roller coaster. But we had started that ball rolling of shutting down before we knew that tide was going to turn. So I was home figuring out like what happens after ES, like what do I do with this? We had some debt that we needed to pay off. We had an SBA loan. So we were trying to figure out like what do we do with some of these outstanding liabilities we have, and we're able to kind of like get to a stable place where I felt like I have maybe a couple months of safety to figure out my next steps. And I really couldn't see ES continuing. So I had this feeling of like, I don't want to take away these patterns that I put a lot of time and resources and energy into it that people love. I don't want to take them away because my business is going away. So that was what led to the decision to put them out kind of open source. And I just kind of, I don't know, I just had a feeling I wanted to like do something. I wanted to do something that felt like a cap on this chapter. And originally my kind of vision was to make those available to other brands that were going to be able to continue post-COVID, to maybe use some of what we had invested in our grading and fit, because we had put so much into that over the years. And that's one of the hardest things for small brands to do, is to develop grade rules and size ranges and all of that. And we put a lot of work into that. And so my hope was specifically for business owners who had struggled with that thing to maybe be able to take some of what we had learned and utilize it in their own businesses. And the home sewing element of it is, interestingly enough, something that had been a part of my vision for the business since the very beginning. In 2013, the Petra crop, I believe it was that very cropped tank style. One of the first pieces that was popular in ready to wear. And so I did a collaboration with a local weaver, and she made hand woven yardage. And then we released the pattern and the yardage as like a kit. So you could buy the pattern and the yardage as a sewing kit. And it did well, but I was very small at the time. And so I was like, oh, that's cool, but the potential revenue from this is so much smaller than selling the finished product. So it was like, I could see this happening where we could have two different audiences, or the same audience, but two different choices: buy the ready to wear or buy the pattern and make it yourself. But I felt limited at the time in terms of where like my bandwidth would go. And so we ended up doing more of the ready to wear. But all of this kind of came full circle when we put the patterns out there. It felt like, okay, we can maybe try to wrap this back in and maybe take the business in more of that direction, which is less inventory heavy and all that kind of stuff. So seeing the success of, I had no idea how interested people would be in our patterns. It felt like, oh, a couple people will like use these and it'll help them, but that was it. And it was like, it was like an explosion.
I wish more ready-to-wear companies did this, and it would probably benefit them too, as well as us.
Yeah, I mean, it came about because of a really unfortunate time for many people. Obviously, COVID, not a great time. But yeah, what came out of it as a result for us sewists was, a silver lining. And I think you're right. I think, perhaps there are other ready-to-wear companies that could be missing a trick because the patterns are there ready to go.
Yes.
And how amazing would it be as sewists, home sewists, to have access
like
to those?
Please. I just think that I'm not going to be their customer anyway.
Yeah.
Like, I'm not going to buy the clothes. Even if I love the look of them, I might try and create something that looks a bit like it. But I mean, they're missing out on a big chunk of customers that could also, help, their business. And because ready-to-wear fashion is hard and there's a lot of waste and all sorts of stuff.
Do you think they're concerned about the ease of which other companies could copy their designs and things like that? Do you think there's an element of that?
I think so. But if you want to copy any article of clothing, you could just go and
you can just go and copy. Anyway. Yeah, that's true.
I can copy clothing from
it's
kind
exactly
of like
right.
just
you
looking
can.
at it.
Yeah.
So if people are going to copy anyway, that's not going to stop them. And you may as well make this pattern or patterns available to us because we are a whole group, a massive industry of people that would buy your digital product.
And aren't currently buying their products. So it's a whole nother market for them to tap into.
Yeah, I mean, I don't imagine too many ready-to-wear company founders are listening to this podcast, but
you never know.
If you are, like,
this is for you.
But yeah, coming back to Elizabeth Suzann, I think what appeals to me and other people about the kind of aesthetic is that it's more like it's very like plain. She uses like solid colors in all of her ready-to-wear things. And, of course, you can do whatever you want. But for me, what I like about it is that it doesn't overwhelm your look. It like the clothes are not wearing you. You're wearing the clothes.
Yes.
And then they're just kind of like creating a nice, simple, comfortable uniform that you can wear and just be yourself.
Yeah, and they're comfortable to wear. I mean, I haven't made any other of her patterns, but I mean, have you, Cutley?
I've made most of them.
And so would you say that they're all comfortable, easy to wear? Yeah.
I think comfort is
her priority.
Definitely, because it's about like living in the clothes. It's about like wearing something during the day and then being able to wear the same things at night with just sort of different accessories.
Yeah, dress it up, dress it down.
Yeah. Like a real capsule wardrobe.
Yeah, absolutely. And I love the uses and the choices of the linens and things. It gives it that really lovely kind of like drape to the garment as well.
Yeah.
It's a great aesthetic.
It's all natural fibers like linens and silks.
It is.
And that would lend itself nicely to making the Georgia. But what did you use?
I used a cotton gauze.
Oh, yeah. That's nice.
Yeah, I just like the idea of it just being really light and floaty. And I didn't go plain. I actually have white polka dots on mine, which I don't know why. I just decided to mix it up.
No, they're great.
You
can make it however you like.
That's the joy of sewing, I guess. Yeah. So I was I was really happy with mine. Really keen to get wearing it.
Is it breezy to wear? Like does it?
Yeah, it is. Yeah, it's a nice fabric to wear.
I'm actually not sure what mine. I think it's it's definitely a viscose, but I think it's maybe like something else in there.
Cupro, do you think?
Maybe.
It feels lovely.
It's a bit shiny on one side. Yeah, I made a dress just like this, trying to be this dress, I guess, in silk. And I learned about how they process the silk in the factory, and I thought it was genius, and I do the same for my silk these days.
Pre-washing fabric at scale in production is very difficult, and it usually doesn't really work. So you could do it in like a machine, but then you've got wrinkles and it's just not really practical to machine wash. There are like facilities that will do it. And then facilities that do it, they'll run the fabric through like a water pit and then re-roll it, and it never actually comes off the roll. But in those situations, it doesn't usually remove all the shrinkage because it's getting stretched as it's getting re-rolled. So we have found that the most reliable thing to do is test the fabric when it comes in. So we'll cut off a swatch. We try to do every dye lot. So if we get a shipment in of 30 rolls of something, there may be 3 or 4 dye lots of one color in there. We try to find those, pull a 24-inch, we measure it out with like a test square, mark it off with like a Sharpie, 24-inch square, do a couple of those per dye lot, wash and dry them on hot water, high heat, let them rest for a little bit, and then we'll measure the finished measurements. And on a good day, multiple dye lots will be similar and we can cut them all together. But when things are really complicated, they're all different. So often we'll have we'll take that shrinkage rate per dye lot and apply it to the pattern. Used to be done by hand, but now we do it all digitally. So we'll use like our pattern software to add that percentage shrinkage in of length and width. And then we've got a unique pattern for every dye lot that we cut. So then when we're making markers, we just make sure we put in there, this is for the Georgia tea in large, extra large, but it's dye lot B1. And then whoever's cutting is pulling that. It gets tricky when we're working with other factories. Like getting people on board with this is a process. But we've been able to do it. We've been able to get people like into the workflow. But yeah, it's definitely easier to manage when we're doing it in-house. So all of our silk we're cutting in-house. And it's a little bit like second nature for us to do it that way. And then so then we cut with the correct pattern, and then we wash and dry everything.
The point of it is that we, sometimes grumble over pre-washing, but like we need to pre-wash so that it doesn't shrink. But in the factory, they're not pre-washing. They're making it bigger and then washing it and drying it to shrink it down to the correct size so that it doesn't shrink further when it gets to you. So there's like a whole other math thing that we don't have to do.
No, thank you.
Because we just pre-rush the one bit of fabric and make it, yay, we got it. But at scale, they can't do it that way.
So that sounds like quite full-on maths to me. I don't think I'd be up for that.
No. Because, as she said, that every batch is different too.
Yes. Depending on the fabric or the colour that it's been dyed or
Too much math. Bye.
Wow. Yeah. Moving on. But thank you.
Yeah. Thank you for making us feel like pre-washing one bit of fabric is not that hard.
Yeah. But no, we should point out though that there is a big process involved in taking, what might be a pattern for a ready-to-wear garment and getting it in a position for a home sewist to be able to download it. So I think Liz had to go through quite a process to get it, ready to go.
Yeah, when the pattern files were initially released to everyone, they were just raw files. It wasn't it wasn't like a sewing pattern like we know it. It was the digital file that they'd use in the factory. No instructions. We did know the seam allowance, that's about it. So they got taken down, and then Liz found someone to help with the instructions, and oh my gosh.
They're amazing.
They're great.
And I love the illustrations.
Really, really, really nice. Like a really lovely sewing experience with that booklet.
Very comprehensive.
So comprehensive. In fact, that there's so many tips that we're not even going to get to talk about because they're already in there.
Yeah. You don't need us. No.
Seriously, it's really, really good.
Yeah, it is. It's
very thorough. Yeah, like I was getting excited to tell you all about my tip again with the arm, with that little curve bit like in our first episode with the Zadie. And it's already in there.
She beat you to it.
There's an illustration from the tip I was going to give. So there we are.
And it really makes a difference. I mean, when you're making something simple like this, that is the kind of tip that is going to make the difference, because you don't want any kind of drag lines pointing to the underarm. You want it to be, looking really nice and sitting like you want it to.
That's right, yeah.
Yeah, excellent instructions.
Yeah, I guess we should probably mention the number or...
Oh, where will they find it?
Oh, yeah, the tip, yeah. It is in the booklet on page 25. It's part 6, and it's a little tip box.
Very good.
And we should also mention that even the page before then has a special instruction that I've not seen in hardly any pattern, and I really appreciate it. And what's that?
It's a sewing label.
It's telling you when to put the sewing label in.
Yeah,
I love
it's
that.
very cool. I think that's really important, because it's an easy step to forget otherwise.
Yes.
And everybody wants to know which is front or back or, whatever. It's great.
And like the Ogden, this is something that you do need to have the back and the front marked because they're similar.
It's not that straightforward when you look at it.
You might put it on back to front.
I also really love the way she had the pictures of the different models and the sizing in there. Like it just gives you that reference point. Oh, that person, she's, only an inch taller than me, and I can kind of get a feel. It's not going to be exact, but it just gives you a really good idea of how that size, if you make that size, how it's going to look on you.
Definitely. And that is another reason why ready-to-wear brands should do this, because they've already done all that.
Yeah.
They've got their models, they've got the sizing and what size they're wearing to show the customer what they're buying.
Yeah.
And
they've
it's
also-
very hard for a patent company alone to do, all
Yeah.
different sizes with samples, but it's really, really good that you can see what height, what size they chose, because it's about what amount of ease would you like.
Yeah.
How do you want it to fit?
And, often these ready-to-wear companies will have like specific ranges, like petite ranges and things like that, which would be really beneficial for, more petite sewists and so on. So it's, there's definitely something for them to think about. And, something I found really happy when I was reading through the instructions, or really nice to read, was right at the end, there was a little note and I just jotted it down because I thought it was so nice. It says, there is nothing quite as exciting as creating something useful and beautiful with your own two hands. And I just thought that was so nice, and kind of a reminder of one of the reasons, probably the main reason for me anyway, of why we do this. And it just kind of made me smile, and I thought, thanks for putting that in, Liz. That was good to read.
Yeah. It's that dopamine hit. When you look at that thing and you're like, I made
that. I did that. Yeah.
And a little reminder to like celebrate it.
Yeah, that's right.
Who knew Walmart Business could help a thriving office motivate their employees? Pamela knew. She uses Walmart Business to get the assortment of items her team needs at the prices she loves.
As the office manager, it's my job to make sure my team stays on top of their game. I can get the basics like cleaning supplies and paper towels, but what they really care about, snacks.
And she can get everything they need when they need it.
Greg loves wheat crackers, Brenda craves sour candy, and Max, oh boy, he needs protein bars and milk and applesauce
It's
and
Walmart,
jerky.
built for your business. Who knew?
Insurance isn't one size fits all. That's why drivers have enjoyed Progressive's Name Your Price tool for years now. With the Name Your Price tool, you tell them what you want to pay, and they'll show you options that fit your budget. So whether you're picking out your first policy or just looking for something that works better for you and your family, they make it easy to see your options. Visit Progressive.com. Find a rate that works for you with the Name Your Price tool. Progressive Casualty Insurance Company and Affiliates. Price and coverage match limited by state law.
There were some other great tips that really helped me when I was sewing it. And this is something I think I try and remember to do, but don't always remember. Things like pressing up the hem before you start making the garment, and finding that center front and center back point and pressing them into the garment before you start any sewing. I thought that was a really good tip and a really good idea, particularly when you're trying to put the binding on evenly around the neckline.
There were heaps of awesome tips in this. You would think that this patent company, being ready to wear now a patent company, would have small, scant instructions.
Yeah, true.
But this is
very thorough.
Very thorough.
I would say that the hardest bit of the garment was probably the binding on the neckline.
Yeah.
If you had to pick a piece that was the hardest. Do you have any tips for that, Kylie?
I think that if you have a preferred way that you like to do it, just do it that way. You
Yeah.
don't have to do it the exact same way that the patent says, although trying different methods based on the instructions shows you all the different methods, and then you can decide which is your favorite, and then I would just do that.
Yeah. I really like using glue for this kind of thing. And I know that you've got some excellent glue, haven't you, Kylie, over at Kylie in the Machine?
Yes, we do, yes. I use the glue too.
Yeah, I just think it's much easier when you're sewing that kind of thing. It holds it all in place. And we've talked about this before. I know you don't give it a little press with the glue. I like to give it a little press with the glue and then sew it. And I just think it's much easier to catch that back bit of the binding. Everything stays where it needs to be. Much easier than pins.
Oh yeah, I'm on a mission to kind of like reduce the amount of pins people are using.
Yeah, just glue everything.
Not necessarily, but like your hand, like glue is great for holding things in place when you're sewing them, especially labels and stuff like that, and tricky things. But like in general, you don't need to use pins all the way up the sides. Like people. I think sometimes people go a bit
too pin heavy.
Yeah, too pin heavy. It's like, first of all, it takes so much time to put them in, and then you gotta take them out, whatever, and then you got, I don't know. It just seems like.
What if it's a really slinky fabric? It's like moving all over the place. Would you go for it with the pins then?
I usually pin both ends, and maybe in the middle.
Okay.
Just so that I know I'm not shifting or something. We've gone off track again.
We have, but it's an important discussion to have,
Well, okay. If there was ever a garment you're going to test. It could be something like this, like the side seam is very straight and then it's got that curve. Like you just have a go.
Yeah.
Putting a pin at the top and a pin at the bottom, just see if you can do it. And if you mess up, just unpick it and do it again.
Yeah, exactly. And so what size did you make?
That's a great question.
I made the
one
up from
size
you.
minus. You
Okay,
made the one
one
size,
size.
and I made the one size minus.
Because it's quite an interesting way of doing the sizing.
It is, yes. It just mirrors the ready-to-wear options. I think.
Exactly, yeah.
I think it used to only be like one size at one point.
Yeah.
And then I think more got added.
And I'm assuming that you didn't do any alterations.
No alterations, no. What about you?
Just one very small one.
You can't help yourself,
I can't
can
help
you?
myself. I always like to fiddle around. No. I don't know that it necessarily needed it, but I'm glad I did it.
I'm rolling my eyes. I'm just kidding. Gemma, this is the simplest top. What did you need? Okay, tell me.
I just put a little bit more space in. I did a broad back.
Oh, okay.
Because, I have a broad back.
I think it already has a broad back adjustment.
Yeah.
I feel like it has that adjustment already sort of built in. Did you add more?
Yeah, I did. Yeah. Sorry, Kylie.
No, it's fine. You just like doing extra work.
I just fiddle around.
No, I get it. You want it to fit you.
Yeah.
You want it to be comfortable. You want to be able to move your
comfortable.
arms.
Yeah, and that was it. And I did make a quick mock-up of this as well because I wanted to make sure that it wasn't going to look too big and baggy. And when I put it on with my toile, it was great, but I could see some drag lines on my back. Crap. Pointing to that area, and I was like, it just needs, for me, a tiny little bit more space there.
So where did you add the space? In the centre back?
Just on the shoulder, basically.
okay.
Just moved it over slightly.
And there's a lot of garment measurements and lots of things that you can look at in the instructions before you're deciding what size to make. And there is meant to be a lot of ease, especially around the hip area, especially if you're making one of the dress versions, because it's kind of like a cocoon, but yeah, you need to make sure you've got enough ease for walking and sitting.
Yeah. I mean, and the pattern itself is really detailed. I mean, the fact that she gives you the half version of the pattern, but also the full version of the pattern, which if you're making it out of a silk or something like that is going to shift around, using the double version or pattern placement is another reason why you might want to do that rather than folding the fabric in half. I thought that was really excellent.
Yeah, I found that interesting because, I had the files I'm talking about, the raw files that got sent to people. They were all the full bodice, got like a full front or whatever. And what we're referring to is, when you get a pattern and it's a mirror, it's a symmetrical piece, like a front bodice or whatever, and then you put it on the fold. That's what most patterns are because that saves paper. But I believe that this is how they do it when they cut in the factory. So they don't
makes sense.
cut it on the fold. They cut, I think they cut like a stack at a time.
Yeah. And also, I suppose cutting on the fold, depending on the fabric that you're using, there's more room for error with the fabric moving against, it's not completely flat.
And if you don't fold it exactly on the right grain, then you might have one side.
Yeah, you can see how there would be errors there. So it makes a lot of sense.
Yeah. It's a lot of paper though.
Yeah, it is a lot of paper. But it's nice to have the option.
Yeah.
Because I have in the past had to add the other half to the pattern because of one of the reasons I've mentioned before. So it was nice to just have that,
It's also good if you're playing like jigsaw with a smaller piece of fabric and you need to make sure it all just fits. Sometimes like cutting things on the flat rather than fold, you get a lot more.
You get more out of it. Yeah.
I found that the hem on the dress is a bit of a curve.
Yes.
And it's not so much of a curve that you need to do, too much manipulation to get it to sit flat. But it is a slight high-low hem.
Yep.
And my tip for sewing that, and I'm pretty sure it's also, in here.
In the book.
In here is that you should fold it up before you sew it. So the side seam is in, then it's already sort of folded. But if you didn't do that, I find that just running a stitch line around at where you want to fold it, say at 1 inch or something, and then folding that up along that stitch line and then folding in again
Great
to make
idea.
the hem.
Yeah.
That's what I would do.
Makes a lot of sense.
If you have a more curved hem than this, you have to be a little bit more, you have to do clipping and all sorts of
Yeah,
things.
it's true. Yeah, it's not too bad, but that's a good tip just for getting that nice smooth curve line.
Yeah, and then you know what? Backing up, I did make an alteration. It wasn't an alteration
see?
of yes. Well, it wasn't an alteration per se. It was just that I wanted more ventilation in my leg area, and so I ended up cutting like having slits on the side seams, just mainly so I can run and
move.
Get air conditioning.
Yeah. What label did you use?
I used, because this is maybe the last garment I might make for 2024, or at least it's going to be the last podcast garment.
Yep.
I used the Circa 2024. What did you use?
Perfect. I actually can't remember. If you could just have a look for me, that would be
I know what you used. You used a mini hand.
I used a mini hand. I did. Sorry, I couldn't remember. I remember distinctly putting in a green mini hand. No. I love those little mini handmade labels. They're very
maybe
very
we should
cool.
bring them back. They've been gone for a while.
Have they really? Bring them back. I'd be right there.
All right, Gemma says.
Yep. Do as I say. No. But I think it's the rainbow, and because you can find something to go with everything.
Do you like to colour match your labels?
I do. Yeah.
So it's not about what it says necessarily, more about the colour?
Well, that does play a part. But I like this. I like the cute. You know, anything that's cute and diddy and.
I guess what? Yeah. So this top it just really needs that little. Here's the back.
Here's the back.
You just need something there.
Yeah. We should talk about the cuffs.
We should talk about the cuffs.
I really like the cuffs on it. I think they're a real sort of defining feature of the top or the dress.
Yeah, because it's not just about giving it a sort of a sleeve, but because it's a double over cuff, it's heavier than the rest of the garment, and it makes the sleeve sort of hang nicely on your arm.
I agree. It gives it the weight that it needs to sit really nicely.
But if you like frills, I reckon you could like put a frilly.
You could totally do that.
Like a gathered cuff.
Yeah.
Or like a flounce.
A flounce. Are you a frilly flouncy person?
Sometimes.
Yeah. Depends what mood you're in.
Yeah. I mean, I love this as it is. I'm just thinking if you like I don't want to change it, but you could. Like I can see how you can hack it in a few different ways.
It's got a lot of potential for that, hasn't it?
Definitely. And I mean, if you look under the hashtag, it's ES, Elizabeth Suzann, ES made by me.
Because I remember talking to you, there's one on the website that they make for ready to wear, that's got a snap front as well, which is really cool.
Yeah, we just saw that. It's not part of the pattern, but if you wanted to add a placket, it's basically you're cutting the pattern piece down the center front and then you're adding however much you want to make the placket plus a little bit extra so that it meets, and then put some snaps or buttons in there.
Yeah.
And then it has just a binding finishing.
They look really cool, didn't it?
Yeah. Oh, no, and it had a yoke. That's right.
Oh, at the back.
It has a yoke as well.
Yes.
So this, I mean, this is a simple garment, but you could cut it in different ways, and you could make a yoke, and you could add a little bit of more gathered fabric in the bodice.
So much you could do.
So many things. So we should do the ratings for the pattern now, shouldn't we?
We should. Should we start with sizing?
Yes. And this is something that is important to Liz, to have a wide range in the ready-to-wear items, and it's the same in the patterns.
Yeah, it's reflected in those, and I think we have to give it a good score because there's a nice wide range there, so we give it a 4.5.
5. Woo.
Drafting.
Drafting's great.
Yeah, it's really good. And I guess that's what you're getting when you take a ready-to-wear company and they become, available for home sewists.
Yes.
It's very, very thorough, the drafting. And we talked about the fact that she offers it, half the pattern and also the full pattern, which does mean there's quite a lot of pages to print.
But maybe not necessary to print them all.
No, you can just decide what you need. But no, I think the drafting is absolutely excellent, and we gave it a 5.
5 stars.
Yes. Instructions
were fantastic.
Yeah, so good.
Like I said, they took all of our tips away to share with you.
They made our job too easy.
Yes. No, they've really done a thorough job.
Very thorough, yeah. So we gave that 4.5.
4.5.
Difficulty.
Well, it's a simple garment.
Yeah.
I would recommend this for a beginner for sure.
Agreed. Yeah, there's no tricky fastenings or anything like that.
It's not hard to fit because it is a oversized garment. Doesn't have any
nothing
closures. It's just the binding.
The binding is the hardest, and
But if you've made an Ashton top, you've done like a neckline and 2 armholes, then this is just one neckline.
Yeah, I think it's super easy. So we gave difficulty 2.
Yeah, 2.
Yeah.
Great.
And price?
It's $29.
$29.
US
so
dollars.
it's kind of upper end of that middle range. Yeah. Okay. So $2 signs.
$2.50 signs.
Yeah, $2.50 signs. And lastly, overall, how many Sewing Club stamps do we give it? 4.5 Sewing Club stamps.
Woohoo! We got it right today. Yay! Now it's a great pattern.
Yeah.
Like a solid instructions, solid drafting, and there's lots of other lovely patterns on the website as well.
And it's a great wardrobe staple. I think it's something that everybody would wear if they had it in their wardrobe. So
for sure.
Yeah.
It's a uniform.
It is. Yeah.
In fact, I'm wearing one right now.
Oh, and
it's
it's
an old
looking
one.
great.
A very old one.
Love it.
Hello, Sally.
Hey guys, how you doing?
How you
Hey Jam,
going?
hey Kylie.
We're excited to hear what you have for
It's
us
that
this
time again.
It
Yes.
is.
It's so cool. Okay, so the next pattern is by Birgitta Helmerson, who does all zero waste patterns.
Yes.
And it will be the tier dress pattern.
Ooh,
Ooh,
that's a nice silhouette.
is.
It's so beautiful. It's
perfect
so
summer
beautiful.
dress. Yeah.
And no printing.
Incredible. Yeah.
Yeah,
Although that's the easiest part, the printing.
yes, it is. But this time we don't have to because it's all
Yeah, that's awesome.
zero waste and mostly no printing. So exciting.
I haven't made a zero waste pattern before, so I'm really excited to try this because I want to do this more. You know,
Yeah.
So it's
Using every little bit of
Exactly.
the rectangle.
feels pretty good.
Yeah, that's so cool. I can't wait. This is going to be awesome. So head on over to Birgitta's website for the usual Sewing Club podcast or one word discount.
Great, exciting.
Yeah.
So thanks so much for listening, everyone. We would love it if you could join our Facebook group, the Sewing Club Podcast Community, where we can share our makes and tips and tricks along the way.
And we have an Instagram as well, which is sewingclub.podcast. We have feedback forms attached to that. You can see our garments in the wild. We post videos there, and we love hearing all the feedback, so keep it coming.
We'd love it if you could subscribe, rate, review the podcast. All of that helps to get this podcast to as many people as possible.
Till next time.
Till next time.
Who knew Walmart Business could help a thriving office motivate their employees? Pamela knew. She uses Walmart Business to get the assortment of items her team needs at the prices she loves.
As the office manager, it's my job to make sure my team stays on top of their game. I can get the basics like cleaning supplies and paper towels, but what they really care about, snacks.
And she can get everything they need when they need it.
Greg loves wheat crackers, Brenda craves sour candy, and Max, oh boy, he needs protein bars and milk and applesauce
It's
and
Walmart,
jerky.
built
And
for your
sugar
business.
and fruit snacks.
Who knew?
You've got social dialed in. Search is doing its thing. So why do your marketing results look the same as 6 months ago? That's because you're fishing in the same pond as everyone else. Podcast listeners are a different audience entirely. More engaged, harder to reach through traditional channels, and ready to act when someone they trust makes a recommendation. We're Acast, and we put them right in front of you. Browse thousands of the world's leading podcasts, book host reads or run your own ads, and track every conversion in real time. Same skills you already have, brand new results. Acast. Acast.com/advertise.